Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hey, listen, I know it's been a while for me putting out an organized video, but nonetheless, we're here today. And as promised, guys, I am bringing you guys the tea on, ta-da! My substance abuse license came in the mail and I am super excited. I am overjoyed. And this is from the board in Virginia. So that's what that looks like. Yes, guys. So as promised in a previous video, I did tell you I would come back once I got this to let you know that what the process was like, what were the different steps I had to take to get to this, and just overall what hiccups I had along the way. So from start, I do have my cheat sheet binder that I did make when as soon as I transitioned from my master's program into residency. What I did was I created a binder. There's nothing special about the binder, just a regular binder. And I just have these different topics or different areas in there, and I just have these little plastic stuff over it to protect the material, just the different papers that I have in here. And I section this into my LPC stuff along with my CSAC stuff. So because the requirements are completely different for CSAC than they are for your licensure for mental health. So this is for the LPC, and I just make sure I have the requirements from the board in here. And this one is for the CSAC, and I have it in here. And what I did was on sticky notes for both of them, I just went ahead and put a little sticky note. You may not see that the right way because I'm using a front-facing camera, but I just went ahead and put a little sticky note on here with how many hours was required, supervision, what task needed to be done, so that instead of me having to go through the entire packet, I had a little cheat sticky right here. I also did that for the LPC just to help me as I went along, because the packets can be a little, not a little, but a lot of details. So let's start with the education piece. When you do decide that you want to become a certified substance abuse counselor in the state of Virginia, and this video is going to be based on the criteria for the state of Virginia. And it might be different in other states. Some may call it something different. I'm going based on my state. So for the state of Virginia, for the education piece, you need to complete at least, and this is if you are going the exam route for your license. There are two ways for you to get your to become a certified substance abuse counselor in Virginia. You can be certification by endorsement. This avenue may be applicable to those who hold a current substantially equivalent certificate as a substance abuse counselor in another jurisdiction, or hold a national certification approved by the board. So this would be if you are certified somewhere else and you're coming to the state of Virginia, you are requesting to become certified in Virginia based on your other credentials. And then certification by examination is the process that I took in the state, going the education route, completing residency, getting approved by the board, sitting the exam, passing, and then getting approved again by the board. So for that process, any person pursuing a CSAC certification by examination will need to complete the following steps. Step 1, complete the education and at least 120 of the didactic substance abuse training requirements. Apply for and receive supervision approval prior to obtaining supervised experience. Step 3, complete the supervised experience. Step 4, apply for CSAC by examination. Step 5, take and pass your examination approved offered through NADAC, and 6 receive your CSAC credential. So let's start with the education requirement. For education, you must hold a bachelor's degree. So your bachelor's degree can be in criminal justice, it can be in any of the counseling field. So whether that's social work, you may also, I believe, have a psychology degree, but it's any of the social field that you can have for your bachelor's degree. On top of your bachelor's degree, you must complete 240 hours of didactic training. Didactic training will include all of the areas for counseling. So that's going to be your cultural competency, group counseling, all of those didactic. That's what they mean by didactic training. So you'll complete 240 hours. Now, with my experience, what they did was, once I submitted for residency, you have to submit your transcript, and from your transcript they examine to see what courses you did that are in line with didactic training, and then they give you hours from from your coursework completed during your education piece. If you have not completed all of it, it's 16 hours for each of the didactic training. That adds up to 240 hours. If you have not met all of it, there's a second column on the sheet that they will use, and I'll find mine to put somewhere so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But you have to complete, I do have the didactic list, so let's talk about it. That's why I said that the sheet is just a whole lot. I literally just had it. It's the packet, and that's why I create all my cheat sheets so that I don't have to go through the entire packet all the time. Okay, so here we go. So the didactic training includes your dynamics of human behavior. You need 16 hours for that. Symptoms and signs of substance abuse, counseling theories and techniques, continuum of care and case management skills, recovery process and relapse prevention, professional orientation and ethics, pharmacology of abuse substances, crisis intervention, co-occurring disorders, cultural competence, substance abuse and counseling approaches and treatment planning, group counseling, and prevention, screening, and assessment of substance abuse. So those are all the areas that your didactic training must be completed in. Now, based on my master's program, that's where I got majority of my didactic training. And so I had about 4 areas that I needed to do while I was in supervision to complete my 240 hours of didactic training. So I had absolutely no hours clocked from my master's program towards the pharmaceutical, the pharmacology. Yeah, pharmacology section. So I had to do a whole training online that I had to pay for on iceu.com. That's where I did all my training, and I'll leave the link down below so that you guys can go there if you are interested in completing your didactic training. I paid $99 for a 1-year subscription, so I can go at any time during that 1 year and do all my training. And I think that's reasonable. But so I had to complete the remainder of my didactic training while I was in residency before I could sit the exam to complete the 240 hours. So for the education, you need your degree, you need the 240 hours of didactic training, and it is 13 areas that I listed for you guys, 13 areas, and you need 16 hours for each of those sections. 16 hours to complete each of those sections. So 16 times 13 will give you your 240. So after you have completed your didactic training or whether or not you have not, the board will let you know once you have submitted your paperwork, which is submitting your degree, having your transcript mailed in. You can either have your transcript electronically mailed in, or you can have it mailed to you, not open, put it in your envelope with your packet and send and mail that off. So you'll need to complete that. So 120 hours of that 240 must be completed prior to you registering for supervision. So before the board approves you for supervision to complete the total hours that you need to before you can sit for the board, you will have to have 120 of that education piece met. So of the 240 education requirement for the didactic training, you must have completed 120 first before you can get approved by the board. So say you've had your 120, you have your degree, you have your 120 completed. Now you have submitted, you have gathered all your documents, all of your paperwork, and you have decided, I have everything that I need. I am going to go ahead and submit this to the Virginia Department of Health Professions. That's where you're going to submit your paperwork, including all the paperwork that are required. You are going to fill out a money order to go along with your application, because you do have to pay that application fee. I'm trying to see where it is on here for the fee, because I did mine back in 2021 and I'm not sure. I don't think that the price have gone up, and I don't remember how much I paid. I do know how much. It's $115. So yeah, so you pay $115 money order written out to the board, the Department of Treasury, for that, and then you submit that. Now once they go through your paperwork, they will send you an email letting you know that you were approved. And of course you have to select on your paperwork who your supervisor is going to be. Now if you are doing this through a job, most times they'll have a clinical supervisor there to provide you with your supervision. For me, my LPC supervisor was the same person I used for my CSAC. So of course her information would go there, which is her name, her license number, because they have to be registered as a supervisor with the board for them to provide you with supervision. So you pay that $115 fee and you submit that. Once they've gone through your paperwork, they will send you an email, and then they'll also send you something in the mail. They'll send you a little, like your license paperwork for you to put in your office. They also send you a little wallet size one that you can keep with you. So during this time, now that you are approved for supervision, let's get to the meat. For supervision, you must complete a total of 2,000 supervision hours, which is direct work with clients in the field. 2,000 hours of working one-on-one with your clients, whether that's in a group setting or that's an individual session. You will complete 2,000 hours along with 100 hours of supervision with your clinical supervisor. So if you're going through your work and they're providing you with a clinical supervisor, that's who you would see for 100 hours. So at the end of your supervision, when you're submitting that paperwork for verification of your supervision hours, you must have 2,100 hours on there. I made that mistake because I initially thought that it meant 2,000 in general, and then 100 of the 2,000 should be for your with your clinical supervisor. However, I had done way more than 2,000 hours, and so I had to resubmit the paper with the 2,000 on there along with the 100. So you'll submit that along with any outstanding didactic training. Like I said, I did mine on ICU.com, and I just printed the certificates for each of the areas that I completed the training in. The hours for each of the training prints on the certificate, and I just put everything in my packet. The fee for that was another $115 again to the department. So I think I may have given you guys the wrong number for the initial. The $115 should be for when you are complete, when you have completed the first part of, your supervision hours. I think it's $65 for the initial application. I cannot find it on here. I will find it and I will link it somewhere here for you guys for clarifications, okay? I had everything set up and all of a sudden now I cannot find what I'm looking for. So nonetheless, guys, so let's move on. So after you have submitted your packet with your supervision, verification of your supervision, along with the supervisor verification form that you will fill out showing what you've done throughout the supervision hours, your supervisor will sign that paper. You will submit that to the board along with your any outstanding didactic training certificates. After that, the board will send you an email letting you know they have received your paperwork and that they are revising it. Once they have revised it, they will go ahead and send you an email for you to be able to sit your exam through NADAC. Now, once you are on the website, you will see the link is listed on the board website where you can click directly, go to NADAC, you set up and you schedule. The exam fee for that is $155. Everything takes money, guys. So that's a $155 for the exam. And once you have paid, you select your date, study, go on out and take your exam. So I use a number of different sites and material to study. There were a lot. I did not pay for any subscription for the substance abuse training leading up to the CSAC exam. I did all free training materials. There were plenty of sites like test.com. Just type in CSAC practice exam into Google and all of those free sites that came up that gave free exam, that is what I used to study. I did not pay for any, materials like I'm doing for the LPC. I use all free website because majority of those questions are geared towards substance abuse, alcohol use, hard substance use, and you will find a lot of material out there, lots of free sites out there for you to practice. There was even one site that did give a full 200 free questions for you to practice. Quizlet.com. If you go to Quizlet.com, there are a lot of people who have posted exams on there or different study material. Use that to your advantage. That's what I also use. Now, once I passed the exam, I went in and I sat for the exam. You do get a pass or fail at the end of the exam. I passed, I screamed and, acted a fool. But I was excited because it was a whole question. Multiple choice that gets you over 200 questions is too much. It's just too much for the brain. But nonetheless, if you study properly, repetition, redoing some of the same tests, you're going to be fine, because in truth and in reality, a lot of the practice tests that I took, a lot of the materials were very similar, just differently worded on the exam. So that's the process for the exam. Once you have passed, NADAC then sends your test score to the board, and then the board sends you your certificate in the mail. Now, one error that I made throughout my process was, instead of submitting my paperwork for approval to the board, I jumped the gun, went to NADAC, scheduled my exam, picked a date, went and did my exam, passed my exam, then emailed the board. And my correspondent, she was like, Trevine, we did not get your packet. So so that we could approve for the exam. And I started sweating. I was, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I was like, well, do I have to redo the exam? And they were like, no, we will get your scores. Just go ahead and send your packet in. And so I had to, you know, rush to gather all my paperwork and I did overnight mail to send it in it was a week after I did my exam that I found out I did it the opposite way. But the board did not give me any pushback. They just told me to go ahead and submit my paperwork, because I think NADAC, according to the information I got, does take a couple weeks before they send your score. So I had time to gather that. So fast forward, I knew that I had passed, so now I was just in the waiting process of getting my stuff in the mail. And so, ta-da! My stuff was not approved until May 12th. I did my exam on February 28th. Passed March, the first week in March, I gathered all the paperwork that I had not submitted, my application and all the work, submitted it to the board. I did overnight package, submitted it to the board, and then it took them a whole 2 months after that for them to approve. So they took the remainder of March, April, and then the first week in May to approve and send it, because it does say on your licensure, the license itself, what let me show you guys. Hey guys, I am back. Had to run and get my planner out the car. So this is the wallet size one that I'm talking about. So you're not going to be able to see it properly, but I'll put it as close as I can so that you can see it. If my stuff will focus, Lord. So this is what I'm saying, like it tells you the date that it was issued. So it was issued on the 12th of May, and it also lists, and this is your license. This is your license. So you get a big one the size of this paper. That's the size of your original license, this size, and that is for you to frame and put in your office. It's just like you go to any restaurant and they have inspection stuff that they have to put out. That's what this is. And then you have a wallet size. Say you have to travel to do your services, or say you're providing in-home services or any of this sort. This is perfect for you to keep in your wallet just in the event you have to verify yourself. And then this, of course, is just the big ones, like your wall certification that just shows for you to put in your nice big old frame to put in your stuff. I did not expect this one to come because I did not see my clinical supervisor having one of these in her office. She has this one for the LPC, and then she has the regular one for the substance abuse. And this is my LPC pocket size certification license. So these are perfect for you to put in your wallet. I'm going to pop these out and get them laminated so that I can start, you know, keeping them so that they don't get wet. Oh, I'm doing a lot of rambling. So that's the process, guys, for getting your CSAC certification in Virginia. Go ahead and ask me any questions you may want to ask in the comment section, and I hope this video will help you on your journey to becoming a certified substance abuse counselor in the state of Virginia, or even give you some idea of the steps you need to take in whichever state you are in. If you haven't become a part of the family, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that subscribe button, guys. Turn your notification on and become a part of the family. We share good information over here. And as always, I will see you in the next video.